When painting these Stormlight miniatures, I believe that you should not be following the art guide precisely. I'll give you 3 reasons why this is, along with 5 examples of people breaking the rules when it comes to their own Stormlight miniatures. So first of all, these minis will become your own personal canon. What I mean by that is that however you see these characters in your mind is right for you. In fact, even Brandon Sanderson has said this when he talks about the different pronunciations of the characters within the Cosmere, which, as you know, I'm really bad at some of these pronunciations. He said here, quote, "I kind of have the philosophy that however you do it in your head is the right version in your version of the story. The characters won't look the same to everyone. Everyone imagines them differently. These minis shouldn't look the same to everyone. Yes, we all start with the same poses, but we can turn these minis into our own through customizations, kit bashes, and painting schemes." The second point is that the details on these miniatures are too small anyway to get exactly right. In fact, some of the details shown in the art guide aren't even present in the premium miniatures themselves. The art guide features 3D renders rather than real painted miniatures, so a lot of the details on the faces, the hands, the clothes are just missing because of their printing process. It didn't catch all the details that were part of the 3D renders. So for example, I discovered these rank knots on the Alethi soldier only after I had 3D printed him myself. With the details that are there, getting a small enough brush and getting a big enough magnifying glass to see those details and paint them would drive me crazy. Thirdly, you won't get frustrated when you're not as good as the art guide. Now, as a kid, I recall looking at the miniature boxes when I went to the hobby store to get my Warhammer sets, and I was very intimidated by the artwork on the cover. Nowadays, I remind myself that those minis are painted by professionals who do it day in and day out, and that's just not my job, and neither it is yours. And even the Stormlight Minis art guide with the 3D renderings, those aren't real painted miniatures. That's the 3D color rendering of those miniatures. So there's this concept in mini wargaming that I want to kind of explain here called parade ready and tabletop ready, the 2 separate things. Parade ready refers to miniatures that are painted well enough that you can pick them up and examine them closely, and you won't see a lot of mistakes and a lot of missing details, right? There's a lot of painstaking effort that goes into painting a miniature that you can examine really close up. Tabletop ready, on the other hand, is where when your miniatures are painted, you put them on the tabletop and you're standing there looking at your miniatures, like your Warhammer army, and from that distance, they look good, right? They look fine all together. But if you were to pick them up and look at them closely, you would notice issues with the painting scheme, some mistakes, some missed parts, but overall, from a distance, they look good. So when I started miniature painting, I went all in on the tabletop ready methodology, and I painted as much as I could because I had armies to get through. Now with these Stormlight miniatures, I'm leaning more into the parade ready, but I'm not all the way over there yet. And I'm calling what I do the shelf ready methodology, where it looks good on the shelves behind me and I look at them kind of close, they look all right. On close examination, you'll see errors, but from the shelf, they look great. Now, after all this, I'm not saying that you should throw away the art guide and just go completely rogue. After all, these minis represent characters that are near and dear to our hearts, and so we should paint them as accurately as we can. The art guide is there to give us very good ideas on how to approach these miniatures, but I encourage you to make these your own. Make them your own canon. Don't fuss over all the small details and enjoy the painting process. Now let's see some examples of folks from my Discord community who entered the April monthly painting challenge to break the rules and paint a mini from the Stormlight set that wasn't exactly like the art guide. So let's head over to Discord and check it out. First of all, we have Moash or Vire, depending on who you're talking to. And this was submitted by Soroka. He painted Moash as if he were half and half, right? And I won't get into too many spoilers here for those who haven't read too far in the Stormlight archive, but you have the right side of him with that Windrunner uniform, and then the right side of him in that black uniform that he's known for, with the glowing shard blade in his hand, lining up one side of him and the darkness on the other side. Soroka mentioned that the inspiration hit him like a truck. He had to get it done. He got it done super fast. Great looking model here and a great take on Moash. Next, we had Stormblessed Miniatures bring in Renarin. I painted him recently. He's a very difficult model to paint because the base is so close to the mini. Stormblessed Miniatures came in here, did a really good job. You can see Gliss Glow, and then he gave him this orange scarf, which I did as well in mine. I love the combo of blue and orange. I think it's fantastic. So the blue uniform with the orange scarf, I love it. And then the stained glass windows. In the art guide, it's just blue stained glass. Stormblessed came in and did a very nice colorful stained glass window, as well as kind of changed up to more of a sandstone texture type view here. Really cool from Stormblessed Miniatures. Next, we had Ed109, who took Pattern and did a unique view of him. Here we have his head glowing in the neon green. You would have some lava texture here. I'm not sure if that's Shadesmar, corrupted Shadesmar, who knows what's going on here, but Pattern is a fun character, and we got some nice OSL going on here with Pattern's head. One of my favorite submissions was from DC. DC took Syl and wanted to represent her dancing in the sunset. Really cool concept. Most people are doing the translucent Syl as much as they can. DC came in and took his own approach. Even had some glow in the dark paint a little bit here to try and get that effect. But I love how this mini turned out, and such a cool idea to represent a mini in the middle of a scene from the books, right? Dancing in the sunset. So this was the mini I entered for the challenge. This is a generic shard bearer 3D print, and I cut off the shard blade and put in this Warhammer from my Warhammer Bits collection, and I painted him up in the gold of the King's plate. If you want to see the full build and painting scheme that I did, check out this video I released last week. It will give you the full process.